Today, we are going to discuss another social problem, communalism. What is communalism? Communalism is an ideology which states that society is divided into religious communities whose interests differ and are at times even opposed to each other. It means n number of religions are available in the society. They have different ideas, different interests. Sometimes they are even opposing each other. The antagonism practiced by the people of one community against the people of other community and religion can be termed as communalism. This antagonism goes to the extent of falsely accusing, harming, and deliberately insulting a particular community and may extend to looting, burning down the homes and shops of the helpless and the weak, dishonoring women, and even homicide. Here, antagonism means an active hostility or opposition as between unfriendly or conflicting group means two different communities, two different religious communities are fighting with each other. Sometimes on some issues, sometimes without any issue. And homicide, the killing of one person by another. Generally, at the time of communal rights, we see these kind of event. Our next point is growth of communalism means what are the causes? What are the reason behind communalism? Number one, economic backwardness. Sometimes a particular community do not have good economic condition due to n number of reasons, illiteracy, poverty, illness, or some other reasons. Now, political leaders or communal leaders, they try to influence them. They try to tell them that if we come in power, then we will do this thing for you. But you have to do this particular event or this particular practice for us. So they are taking the advantage of economic weaker section of that particular community. Number two, growth of communal parties and organizations. See, in our country, India, basically India is a democratic country. We have secularism. For us, according to the constitution, each and every religion is equal. But in every religion, we find so many groups, parties, agencies, or organizations which are totally based on religions. So we have n number of communal parties and organizations available in the society. Next, electoral compulsion of political parties. Number three, communal media, literature, and textbooks. N number of new textbooks are there, or literature or articles are available in the print media, which are stating that we are at number one position. Other religions are not that good as we are, or as our religion is as good as. So, an n number of channels, media channels are available, which run the propaganda of these kind of agencies and parties. Separatism and isolation among community. It means any particular religion or community is isolated from the society. This is also the reason of communalism. Here we can take the example of community of untouchable people. We have Dalit and Mahadalit concept in caste system. Basically, they are untouchable people. They are totally separated and isolated from the community. If they have one good leader or a leader, or they organize a party or agency, communal party, and they start working for them. Now again, we can face some consequences in terms of communalism. Next is anatomy of communal rights. This is a very important point. A probe into the major communal rights in the country during the last 5 decades reveals that it means from the last decades, whatever we have faced as a communal rights, what would be the reason behind that? Communal, number one, communal rights are more politically motivated than fueled by religion. Means political parties are trying to influence people. They are motivating people to get into these kind of events. Besides political interest, economic interest also play a vital role in fermenting communal clashes. Again, economic interest means the kind of work, division of labor, again, and financial condition, financial economic condition, economic situation of that particular community is also a reason of communal rights. The probability of recurrence of communal rights in a town where communal rights have already taken place once or twice is stronger than in a town when such rights have never occurred. Again, here we can take the example of Ayodhya ji. Ayodhya ji is a place where um, we had issue of Ram Mandir and Babri Masjid, right? At the time of demolish of Babri Masjid, the um people of Ayodhya ji faced communal rights, rights between Hindu and Muslim community. So when the verdict was about to come, so it was high chances were there that again communal rights can be occurred. Stronger chances were there, and cities, small cities like uh, you can take the example of any small city of MP or UP like Satna or Jabalpur or Mandla or Damoh. They do not have that kind of probability because they have never faced these kind of situation in the past. Next point is most communal rights take place on the occasion of religious festivals. Why? That time, the feeling of population, the feeling of people are totally related to religion only. So, on the occasion of religious festivals, generally there are chances of communal rights. The use of deadly weapons in the rights and on the descendancy. It means deadly weapons. Here you can take the example of illegal weapons, you can say, which are not registered. People use these kind of weapons at the time of riots. Now, you people are understanding what I'm saying about communal rights.
No, not really.
Not really. Communal rights means fighting between or fight between two religious group, two religious community.
Okay, I get it. For example, like now, Israel and the Gaza conflict at the border.
Yes, Gaza conflicts. Yes, yes, yes. This is a true example of communalism. Next point is prescriptive measures to deal with communalism. The communalization of civil society also needs to be checked because it leads to rights that are more communal. People with communal ideas and ideologies pressurize the government to act in a manner which is always against the principle of secularism. Here again, we can take the example of any fight or debate or any sort of issue on the basis of religion. Next, the role of education, particularly emphasizing on value oriented education, both in schools and colleges, is important in preventing communal feelings. Again, educational institutes play a very important role inculcating the value of secularism. Why? Because in schools and colleges or any educational institute, we find students from different background, different religion, and it is the responsibilities of teachers and the school management, their duty that they treat each and every student equally. They cannot discriminate on the basis of caste and religion or community. So the role of education or educational institutes play a very uh, these institutions play a very important role. The media can also prove to be significant in preventing communal feelings. Communal press can be banned and legal action can be taken against communal writers. People or writers or media persons who are influencing communal activity should be banned. This can also be helpful in preventing communal feelings. Next, peace committees can be set up in which individuals belonging to different religious communities can work together to spread goodwill and fellow feelings and remove feeling of fear and hatred in the rights affected area. Whenever we see any sort of riot or any sort of fight between communities, generally government organizations or government government officers, they try to contact the religious leaders and ask them to appeal people of their community to maintain the decorum, to maintain the peace. Why? Because religious leaders are very influential people, very influencing people. So peace committees can be set up with the help of these kind of religious leaders. Our next social problem is youth unrest.
Um, for example, I have a question. It's a big
Yes.
problem in Germany. Maybe it's also in India. We have, for example, Muslims, and they do the teaching in the churches on Arabic. So
Ye-
we can't prove what they preach. You know what I mean? And sometimes there is no control about the influence they speak about in the churches.
yes. See, we have in a religious leader group, we have two types of leader. One who are totally influence, who are totally influence people regarding their religious feelings in negative way. They say that our community is number one community, our religion should be on the top of the other religion. And some leaders, they are really a good leaders. They say that we should respect our religion, simultaneously we should respect others also. So generally, in peace committee, we gathered people who are into positive side of religious feelings. Understand? And the measures we have discussed. The communalization of civil society also need to be checked. Here you were asking that you do not know what kind of teaching they are doing at that particular place. So this point says the communalization of civil society also need to be checked because it leads to rights that are more communal. Understand?
Yes.
Yes, means government should keep an eye on these kind of agencies who are providing religious education.
Yes.
Our next major social problem is youth unrest. Youth, basically, the meaning of youth unrest is collective frustration of the youth in the society. The existing norms in the society are perceived by the youth as ineffective or harmful to the extent that they feel so disillusioned, disappointed, or disgusted about them and recognize the need for changing these norms. Here, we can take the example of education system also. We can take the problem of unemployment also. Characteristics of youth unrest: collective discontent, dysfunctional conditions, public concerns, the need for change in the existing norms. Means the youth of the country is thinking, major part of the youth adults are thinking that the policies, rules, and regulations and norms available in the society or available in the government law are not up to the mark. They need to be changed. Why? Because if they are not useful, then definitely we should change the rules and regulations. Next is youth hesitations, means youth movements. Youth hesitation is a behavior of the youth whose goal is social protest. It aims as neither to injure a person nor cause destruction of public property. Here we are talking in a positive manner. We are talking about a movement run by youth, which is known as youth agitations. Various forms of youth agitations are slogan shouting, strikes, hunger strikes, roadblocks, and boycott of examinations. Why young people are doing this? There, there are some reason behind it. The main functions of youth agitations are to create collective consciousness and group solidarity, to organize the youth to work for new programs and new plans, to provide opportunities to young individuals to express their feelings and make some impact on the course of social change. These are the main functions of youth agitations. Means why youth agitations or youth movements are organized. Cause of youth unrest and agitation. You can note down these points. These are very important points. Economic causes like demand of reducing fee and increasing scholarship. Generally, we hear that students of this particular universities are on a strike. Why? Because they are demanding that the university should reduce the fee for particular course or increase the scholarship. Next, demand for changes in existing norms pertaining to admissions, examinations, and teaching. Existing norms, suppose there are some very tough rules, some very tough criteria related to admissions. Then students of that particular institutes go on strike and ask them. ask the management that you should flexible the rule. Poor functioning of college universities with non-purchase of chemicals and instruments for laboratories or books or journal for libraries. Generally these are the normal demands of the students. If they are paying the fee, they are paying something, they are paying the hard-earned money of their parents, then definitely they are eligible to get these kind of facilities. Next, conflicting relations between students and teachers. Teachers being accused of frequently cutting classes and remaining non committed to teaching. It could be a reason. Generally, we find that in government sector educational institutes, sometimes teachers are not ready to take the classes as per the guidelines. Now, it would be very difficult for the students to cover the whole syllabus. So, conflict relationship between students and teachers occurs here. In next point is inadequate facilities in the campus, like inadequate hostel accommodation, poor food in hostels, lack of canteens, and poor drinking water facilities. It could be the reason of youth unrest or youth agitation. Last point, leaders being instigated by politicians. Here we can take the example of JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. See, this university is, or any other universities, or any educational institutes is available for providing the education. This is not the place to do politics, but some politicians try to influence student leaders. We have heard about JNU case where students started slogan shouting against the ruling government party. And what happened? It was a sort of fight or conflict between two groups. One is in the favor of ruling party, one is in opposition of ruling party. Then management has to call had to call the police to tackle the situation, to control the situation. These students were there to study, they were not there to do politics. They were influenced by some political leaders of different political parties. So it could be a reason of youth unrest. Sometimes the youth unrest fail to get the public support. Why? Because the claim is too vague. Means whatever they are asking, it is not at all acceptable. Does not have any sense in their demands. Next, the issue is not powerful enough to gain attention. See, if any student is demanding something else which is not related to their educational institute, then it's not his business or her business to decide what the government will be doing. His or her business is to study, get the degree, make a career, and establish a good benchmark or good example for the society. Do something good for the nation, for nation. This is not his or her business to do any sort of protest. Next, the issue is incorrectly focused. Here, we can take the example of uh, Banaras University, where the students of, sorry, the girls who are staying in girls hostel, they were protesting for some issues. They were asking for some facilities, and they started slogan shouting in front of their warden house, a warden quarter. Then some other people from outside the university, they got involved in this event. Now what happened? The event lost its focus. The problem of girls hostel is the problem of girls, not the problem of outsiders. Next, ineffective strategies are adopted by the youth for pressing claims. Here we can take the example of damage of public property, or damage something which is very useful to the society, like public transportation. Sometimes youth control youth lost its control, and they start damaging the public property, like burning the transportation system, started burning the buses, started dismantling the railway tracks. So these are not the good strategies. Next point is opposition from other interest group. Here again, opposition or support from other interest group which are not directly related to that particular issue. Now, controlling youth agitations. The adult world has to accept the fact that the youth problems cannot be solved by them, but with them. It means all the problems cannot be solved, all the issues cannot be get resolved. These issues can get the solution, or adults or youth can get the solutions for their problem by discussing them. Cooperation of students need to be sought by parents, teachers, and administrators. Youth or students, parents, teachers, and educational administration, politicians, and political parties should cooperate in understanding the problems, grievances of the youth, and giving them logical guidance. It means, if here we can take the example of issue of fees raising. Suppose if any institute increase the fee of particular course, then there should be a reason behind it, logical reason behind it. They should make them understand, the students and parents also, that why they are increasing the fee, what kind of facilities uh, would be provided by these increased fees. So any institution or the administrator of institution can control the youth by discussing the problem. Our next social problem is corruption. Corruption, in simple terms, may be described as an act of bribery. But this is not only bribery. Corruption is present in society in several forms. The major ones are: number one, bribery. It means money offered in cash or kind of gift as inducement to procure illegal or dishonest action in favor of the giver. Means, if someone wants some kind of favor from the government agency or any private agency, then they offer the money in cash or kind, or in gift form. This is called bribery. Means you are giving something to someone to get the favor. Next, nepotism. undue favor from holders of patronage to relatives. It means if any person or any family has some power, then this family is supporting the next generation or relatives and providing undue favor. Suppose if an individual is working with government sector and he is in a very good position, he has power or he has rights to hire or recruit few people in contractual basis, on contractual basis, and he is giving this favor to his family members or relatives. This is providing undue favor. Misappropriation, it means using others money for one's own use. Here we can say it is a sort of money fraud. Patronage, wrong support, encouragement given by patron and thus misusing the position. Again, here we can take the same example that government employee who is in a very good position is giving employment on contractual basis to his relatives. Favoritism, unduly preferring one to another. It means you are giving preference to your favorite one. These are the forms of corruption available in the society. Causes of corruption. What are the causes of corruptions? The emergence of political elite who believe in interest oriented rather than nation oriented program and policies. It means political people are achieving their own interest or their own targets. They are not thinking about the nation oriented programs and policies. They are thinking about themselves and their parties only. It could be a cause of corruption. Suppose there is a political party and ruling a state. This political party is ruling a state. But in our central government, we have different ruling party. Now, the party which is ruling the state is not conveying the proper message of central government related to any sort of policies, programs. Here, what happened? If central government is giving some fund to the state government, then state government is not providing these funds to the needy people. Here, the political people of that particular party are interest oriented, they are not nation oriented political leaders. Number second, corruption is caused by scarcity of goods, means short supply or shortage of goods. At the time of lockdown, at the time of COVID, coronavirus, we faced so many problems related to grocery supply. Our government provide grocery to weaker people or people who cannot afford a meal that time. What happened? Corruptions occurred. Suppose if there is a rumor that in coming 15 days we will not be getting enough supply of petrol, enough supply of fuel, then what will we do? We just start our vehicle, go to the petrol pump, get our tank filled, and we'll take some tanks or some bottles also to get it filled with the fuel. This is what, this is a short supply or shortage. Now if that particular if a particular petrol pump starts selling the petrol or the fuel in higher rate, then it is a sort of corruption. Next, corruption is caused as well as increased because of the change in the value system and ethics of men who administer. It means people who are placed in very senior or higher position in government or in society, if they do not have proper value system or ethics, then definitely corruption would be increased. Next, corruption can be traced to ineffective administration, lack of vigilance, enormous power to the bureaucracy, lack of accountability, defective information system. These things also the cause of corruption. These things are also the cause of corruption. Now, impact of corruption or the consequences, result of corruption. It has retarded economic development of the country. It means it is a barrier, it is a hurdle on the way of economic development. It has created violence and lawlessness in the society since the corrupt have the money power to influence the executor of law to serve him. Here we can take the example of judiciary system. Corruption has created lawlessness in the society. It means if an individual who is a very rich or in a very good financial condition, suppose by mistake he commits some crime or break some rules or do something which is illegal, knowingly or unknowingly, and caught by the police or by the system, then what happened? If he has money, then he will use his money power to influence the judiciary to come to ask them to come in his favor. This is a simple example of corruption, result of a corruption. Next, it has resulted in the deterioration of morals and destroys the individual character. What do you understand by destroyed the individual character? Taking bribe is a good thing or not?
Like self-respect,
Yes? What are you saying?
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Self-respect.
Yes? Not getting what are you saying? Destroyed
Taking
character.
bribe is not good, ma'am.
Self-respect.
Your voice is not clear, Sufia. Whatever you want to ask, you can write here.
Taking bribe is not good, ma'am.
No, it's not good
Ma'am,
because
I'm saying that
influence.
self-respect.
It's not good, ma'am. It's not good.
It's not good, yes. Okay. Taking bribe is not good. Now, if someone is taking bribe and we know about him, suppose he's caught by the police, what happened? it reflects his individual character, that this person is not good, he involved in illegal activity, it is destroying his character. In future nobody will trust on him, nobody will believe on him.
But the
Next,
consequences could be also this persons, if they get more and more, also destroy the moral and the character by the
yes, moral
society.
values, yes, deterioration in moral values also. See, he is innocent until proved guilty, but once he is caught red-handed, then all the reputation, all the position, all the respect, whatever he got in his past life will be destroyed immediately, immediately, in a second. Next is, it has increased inefficiency, nepotism, and has created indiscipline in all field of administrations. See, here we can take the example of relief funds at the time of natural disasters. At the time of any sort of disaster, generally government release relief funds, means funds for the people who are affected by the disaster. Now, there is some protocol that, or some agency which would be releasing the fund. If the officers of or working people of that particular agency are corrupt, then, or suppose the head of the agency is corrupt, he is not he is not an honest person, then what happened? The other people, subordinates, colleagues, juniors, they will get affected by his practice, and it will increase the inefficiency in that particular workstation and create indiscipline in every department. Next, it has increased black money in the country. Who will explain this point? Black money, increased black money in the country. Anybody can?
Yeah, maybe it's if someone received money for a specific field for helping, we can take this leader for the helping for. If he collects this money for himself, he can't say it officially on his bank account or whatever because the society gets aware he,
Yes.
and therefore some people transfer their money into other states, for example Switzerland, into this
Very
bank
true.
account.
Very true. Black money is the money which does not have any official record.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
ma'am,
Where,
Exactly,
receiving
ma'am.
from unknown source.
Exactly, ma'am.
yes, coming from
Charging
unknown
extra
source,
unknown source.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly, ma'am.
right? Next point is,
Yes,
it
ma'am.
has led to adulteration of eatables, spurious drugs, and shortage of many consumer items. Result of corruption is adulteration of eatables, means in eating items we are finding duplicacy or adulteration. Spurious drugs means drugs which are very necessary or very important for the society or general people, we find fakeness and duplicacy or adulteration, and shortage of many consumer items. It means n number of things which are directly related to our basic necessities. There is a shortage of these goods and items. These are the main result of corruption. Next, measures taken to contain corruption. See, as an individual, we always practice honesty. That's what we can do as an individual, right? But
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, measures taken to contain corruption. Here we will discuss about the followings of central government or government. The central government has set up the following four departments as anti-corruption measures. Number one, Administrative Vigilance Division in the Department of Personnel and Training. Number two, Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI. Number three, Domestic Vigilance Unit in the ministries, departments, public undertaking, and nationalized bank. Means every bank, every nationalized bank, public sector organizations, departments, and ministries, they have their domestic vigilance units. Means they have one department who look after the activity of corruption. Central Vigilance Commission. These are the main four setups by the department, by the government.
Ma'am, what is the role of ED in Enforcement Directorate, ma'am? Sometimes we are hearing that ED raid on such and such place.
Yes, ED generally look for money laundering cases
Oh, right,
or
right. We often
problems related to
heard,
financial sectors,
right, right.
right? In every money laundering case, generally we see the interference of ED,
ED,
right?
right.
Yes. Um, uh, for ED, I can give you one example. In few classes back, I have given you the example of a journalist Rana Ayub, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Rana
You
Ayub
gave.
has
Yes, ma'am. Remembered.
collected the fund for this
Still
COVID.
remembered.
Yes,
Still
yes,
remembered.
on the platform of Keto, and she has not shown the accounts. So finally, when case was registered, it was found that she has collected almost 2.4 or 2 point something crore rupees, in which she has used 1 crore as a relief fund, and rest of the money she has deposited in bank as fixed deposit
As
in name
investment.
of her father and sister. So ED has sent one summon to her.
Okay.
This
Thank you.
it was a
Got it, ma'am.
true case
Got
of
it.
money laundering. Simple
Right.
example of money laundering. Okay.
Okay, got
Next
it.
social problem is migration and displacement. Anything related to corruption you want to ask, you can ask. Or whatever points we have discussed. If you have any problem, you can ask.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Nothing,
our
ma'am. Got it,
next
ma'am.
You
major
can
Already.
social
proceed
problem.
further.
Already know, ma'am.
Okay.
Already know.
Okay. So our next social.
Ma'am, can you please share the PDF for block 1 to 1?
Uh,
Sufia, I'm not getting. You were saying something?
Yes, ma'am, I'm saying send the PDF.
Sufia, your voice is
Sophia
not
not.
clear.
Yes, ma'am.
I think she is running out of network, maybe.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am. She's running out of network.
Our next point is migration and displacement. Basically, the meaning of migration is the movement of a person or people from one country, locality, place of residence to settle in another for employment or due to any other reason. Migration is generally known as the movement of people or a person from one place to another for employment or any other reason. Now, Forms of migration. Rural to rural, it means a person who belongs to rural area is again going to another rural area. Rural to urban area means from rural place to urban place. Urban to urban, it means from one city to another big city. Urban to rural, it means from big city or urban city to rural area. This is a form of or types of migration. Another two types of migrations are also there. That is internal migration. It refers to migration from one place to another within a country. It means if we are talking about migration of a person within the country, either rural to rural or rural to urban
Ma'am,
or urban to urban or
ma'am,
urban to rural is internal migration.
ma'am.
Yes.
Sophia written something. Hmm.
Sophia has written something. Let me see.
Ma'am, also there is an act called interstate migrant worker. Those worker coming from another state to other state for working or for searching for a job. There is an
Yes.
act.
Yes, yes, very true. 1 minute, Sufia. I have already sent you the all the blocks of 122, 121. Please check your mail. All the PDF I have given you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I also didn't receive any mail.
Even me too, ma'am.
I didn't receive, ma'am.
I'm not getting any PDF.
I have sent you mail in this afternoon only.
Nothing. No,
Sufia
ma'am, not
asked me
got.
personally. Sufia asked me personally to send the PDF. I have sent the PDF. I have not sent the PPTs. Okay.
PDF.
Ma'am, where you have sent it?
Not getting. Who is asking?
I am asking Manindra.
Yeah, Mahendra, tell me.
I have not received any PDF copies of the lecture you have delivered yesterday
No,
or
no,
day
no.
before.
These PDFs are available in IGNU website. Sufia was not able to find it, so she
Oh,
asked
oh,
me
okay, okay.
personally that, ma'am,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not getting the study material or not getting the right link. So I have sent her the PDF of study material, which is already available in uh,
Website.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, that
IGNU
one. So
website.
that one, ma'am.
Yes,
That one.
Gurjot, tell me what you were
It's with me.
asking.
No, ma'am, it's with me. Okay, okay, I got it. It's with
Okay.
me. It's already with me.
Okay.
Study material.
So we were discussing about migration. Internal migration refers to migration within a country, and external migration or international migration refers to migration from one country to another. Someone Mahindra was discussing was asking about the state migration. State migration, another, it is coming or it is
No,
including.
I was saying that there is an act. There is an act for interstate migrant worker
Yes, yes, because due to employment reason, the people
have to
move
travel
from
from
one
one place
state
to
to
another
another,
place.
and they have certain rules and regulations regarding the employment rates.
Ma'am,
Exactly, exactly.
Yes, yes. Who is
ma'am,
asking?
Jutta also asking for that study material. Ignore
Okay,
website study
Gurjot,
material.
please send me your mail ID. I will send you the mail. Okay.
Ma'am,
But
I have
ma'am, I didn't
already,
receive any mail
I
from
already.
you.
Ignore wants to with me, ma'am. It's in LMS, ma'am.
There is a link. There is a link of study material e-Gyan Kosh. If you write
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
BSW
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
121 study material IGNU, just write it in Google. Then also you can find the link.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got it. I got it. I got
Okay.
it. E-Gyan.
Chalo, back to the pavilion. Factors related to migration. Number one, economic factors. Here, low agricultural income, unemployment, or greater job opportunities. These are the factors which are directly related to migration or are the cause of migration or are the reason behind the migration of the people. Next, demographic factors. Migration has a direct impact on age, sex, and occupational composition of the sending and receiving regions. Migration of the unmarried males of young working age results in imbalance in sex ratio of that particular area. This tends to reduce the birth rate in the rural areas. C. People or youngsters who are staying in rural areas, they go to urban areas to get employment or to get better job opportunities. Now, what happened? Generally, male member of the rural areas start moving to urban areas, and female candidates, they are not allowed to go outside for the work, and they are still staying in rural area only. Here, the imbalance in sex ratio occur. Again, if a boy of a family goes to big city, get a good job, and starts living there, at the time of marriage, at the time of marriage, he starts his family in big city only. Now, what happened? Reduction in birth rate in his native place. Why? Because he is staying in the city with his family and he has all parents in his native place. So obviously, family will be staying in the city only. Now, whenever they plan a family, so a child take birth in the big city. Again, tends to reduce the birth rate in the rural areas. Next point is socio-cultural factors. Social and cultural factors also play an important role in migration. Improved communication facilities such as transportation, impact of radio and television, cinema, urban oriented education, and resultant change in attitudes and values promoted migration. Sometimes family conflicts also cause migration. Here, when we discuss about socio-cultural factors, see, if we take the example of educational institutes, we do not have good educational institutes in rural area. Now, what happened? People of rural area start sending their kids or children to big cities or urban areas to get education, to get educated, or to get higher education or professional education. It influences other families also, and the kind of facilities we get in urban areas related to education, related to healthcare facilities, definitely we do not get these kind of facilities in rural areas. So these facilities promotes the migration, activity of migration. Sometimes family conflicts also cause migration. It means conflicts between family members, and some people decides to leave the family and go to another place to live there or to get the good job or to get education, anything. So family conflicts also is a cause of migration. Next is political factors. People who are influenced by political leaders and political parties, sometimes they also migrate themselves from one area to another area. So these are the factors which are directly related to migration. Till now, we have discussed the social problems which are directly related to group of people or the society. Now we are going to discuss social problems which are related to an individual. See, individual is also any individual is also a social animal, but still some problems are there which are only related to individuals, like suicide. Suicide is one of the major social problem available in our society. Suicide is death resulting from a deliberate act of self destruction. It means someone or any an individual is not willing to live. He just want to commit suicide or just want to take his own life. This is the act of self destruction. According to WHO report, youngsters in the 15 to 29 years of age group accounted for highest rate of suicide per 1 lakh population. Beside the overall number of victims, their geographical spread, class background, income group, economic status, occupational insistence, and age group, family situations, all indicates that suicides are no longer mere episodic occurrence, it, but have assumed a near systematic character. Nowadays, if we hear that someone has committed suicide, it is not a episodic occurrence. Generally, we get the news of suicide of youngsters. What are the reason behind these kind of act? The causes of suicide: poverty and unemployment. Due to poverty, here poverty means they are not able to fulfill the basic needs of the family and for the self also. It caused the suicide. Unemployment. People or youngsters who have qualification but they are not getting employment. This is also a reason of suicide. A sudden and unacceptable downturn in economic fortune means heavy loss in monetary terms or in business, or unbearable debt burden is there. If it is there, then definitely it would be a cause of suicide. Sometimes individually, sometimes collectively also. Sometimes we get the news that the whole family committed suicide. The four members of a family has four members and all have committed suicide. Why? Because they have a big loss in business,
Um, could
downturn
I
in economic fortune. Yes, tell me.
could I add something from Europe, because I was involved in
Yes.
an NGO. They wrote a book and do a QR code. They want to print it in coffee shops and bars for suicide people or people who think about to do so. And they refer to the main problem is a missing of a gap, um, a missing link of something about economic, about mental health support or whatever, and the missing of someone they can talk to. And in UK, they do a program called the Orange Button, so the people get teach, and everyone who's running this course can wear this orange button if he likes, and offer so a talk. If someone feels suicide tendency, he knows, oh, this one with the orange button, he can face. my thoughts and I can talk to.
Okay. Our next point is psychological pressures, dowry disputes, illness, and failure in examination. See, whatever she has said, she has given the example. If question is asked, write a short note on suicide or write a short note on cause of suicide, then you have to write every point with the example, with an example. Then you will get good marks. Here, again, I can explain you, or I can give you one example of economic burden or economic fortune. At the time of recession in IT sector, one Indian family in USA committed suicide. What happened? They have four members in the family, husband, wife, and their two dependent children. Husband and wife both were working in IT sector and were getting a handsome salary, drawing a handsome salary. At the time of recession, both of them lost their job. And the kind of job opportunities they were not getting the handsome salary. They have bought a house. They have taken bank loan for that. Now their children were studying in a very good school, paying a heavy fees for their education, but they were not able to cope up with the situation. After losing the job, they were not able to match their living standard. What they have done? Initially, husband and wife, they both murdered the kids and they committed the suicide. What happened? It was a clear or simple example of downturn in economic fortune. They were not ready to accept their new economic condition, which was not good. So it was a cause of suicide. Next is psychological pressures. Here we can take the example of pressure by the parents to get good marks in examination, dowry dispute, or matrimonial dispute can be a cause of suicide. Illness, if someone is not ready, someone is suffering from a disease or suffering from a illness, then she or he is not ready to accept his health condition. It can be a cause of suicide. Failure in examinations, this is the main reason of suicide among the students. Sometimes students do not get good marks, or sometimes they fail in the examination, and after getting the result they commit suicide. Should we move to our next problem or next topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next is substance abuse. Substance abuse means drug addiction or any sort of addiction by any substance. Drug addiction can be defined as a state of periodic or chronic intoxication detrimental to the individual and the society, produced by repeated consumption of drugs, natural or synthetic. Here, intoxication means getting addicted. In Hindi, we can say nasha karna. Intoxication means nasha karna. And detrimental means which is harmful to the individual and the society, produced by repeated consumption of drugs. Its characteristics include an overpowering desire or need to continue taking the drug and to obtain it by any means. Means habit of taking any sort of drugs or alcohol. Overpowering desire or need to continue taking the drugs because they get addicted of getting it. Number two, a tendency to increase the dose. Here we can take the example of any person who consumes alcohol. He starts with a small quantity and gradually starts taking heavy dose of it. Number three, psychic and sometimes a physical dependence on the effect of the drug. Psychological dependency or a physical dependency on any sort of drug. So these are the characteristics directly related to substance abuse. Our next point is, what is the constitutional and legal framework to reduce the substance abuse from the society? Here, section 71 of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act 1985 provides as under: the government to establish centers for identification, treatment of addicts and for supply of narcotics, drugs and psychotropic substance. The government of India has pronged strategy for demand reduction consisting of: number one, building awareness and educating people about the ill effect of the drug abuse. It means spreading awareness.
Ma'am, psychotropic means?
Narcotics is a narcotics is a sort of narcotics is a department. Narcotics, drugs. I really do not know about the types of drugs. I have to Google it. What is the narcotic drugs? Wait a minute, I'm telling you.
I could guess it's about Chavos, for example, this Valium, where you reduce in a
Yes, narcotics are some of the most powerful painkillers. Narcotics means, the meaning of narcotic is the some of the most powerful painkillers available in form of drugs.
And psychotropic?
And psychotropic means psychotropic substance would be known as, give me a minute, let me see the specific meaning of this psychotropic substance. Chemical substance that changes the function of the nervous system.
Oh, yes.
Means drugs directly affect our nervous system, are known as psychotropic substance.
Psychotropic substances. Okay.
Okay. And result in alteration of perception, moods, cognition and behavior. These are called psychotropic substance. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Now the policy of Government of India for reducing the substance abuse from the society: building awareness and educating people about the ill effect of drug abuse. It means spreading awareness by organizing seminars, running campaign and conducting workshops in which they provide the information about the ill effect of drug abuse. Next, dealing with the addicts through programs of motivational counseling, treatment, follow-up, and social reintegration. It means, suppose there is a person who is drug addicted, then they have some programs related to their treatment, their follow ups, and their motivational counseling also, to impart drug abuse prevention, rehabilitation training to volunteers with a view to develop an educated cadre of service providers. It means people who are working in the field of drug abuse or substance abuse. So here government is providing education to them or providing information to them so that a group of volunteer can be trained.
Ma'am, Jutta written something in chat.
Yes, let me see. I am not getting the message. Jata, I do not know the meaning of benzodiazepine. I have to see it.
Yeah, maybe you have to check it. These are the drugs you give people in very overwhelming situations to calm them down in seconds. The psychologists or doctors will give the patients, the clients, this stuff, but you can give them only 1 or 2 days, because if they use it more than, for example, 5, 7 days every day, they get a very high addiction and have to go to the hospital to do a detoxification. So
Okay, it
they
is a
are
sort of
short.
medicine.
Yeah.
It is a sort of medicine, na?
Yeah, yeah,
Medicine.
yeah. And everyone is very careful to give it to clients. It's a medicine, right? A specific group of medicine.
Okay, okay. So she was giving the example of this drug, actually, psychotropic substance.
Psychotropic is something like the kids in Germany, and I guess also in the world, go on the nature and search the small mushrooms, and they eat them. Or, for example, this mushroom growing at the fields, at the wheat, where they blew out LSD.
Okay,
It's also a high psychotrope substance. On Germany, it's called Mutterkorn. I don't know specifically on English.
okay,
I
fine.
try to search it.
Okay,
And the mentioned drug may not be available in our country, ma'am.
I don't know. I know in US and in UK and USA, a lot of people knows about that. Specifically the young ones, the teenage population. But I try to find out an example and send it in the chat box or at the WhatsApp group, right? And about the medication, I know because I'm a naturopath and I have to learn these rules about the law.
Share it to the WhatsApp group.
I could do it in the WhatsApp group if you like. If you don't mind, I type it in.
Okay, sure.
It's okay, Runa?
okay.
Are you
Now
okay?
Okay,
resume the
okay.
topic. Resume the topic. Our next point is adult crime. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What is a crime? Basically, crime is any behavior that violates the criminal law,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
any behavior that violate legal sections, criminal, civil, military, which prescribe punitive punitive action against offenders. Any antisocial behavior that is harmful to individual or group is known as crime.
Action
Okay.
against law.
Yeah. Now There are two types of crime. Organized crime, it is a category of transactional, national or sorry, transnational, national or local groupings of centralized enterprises run to engage in illegal activity, most commonly for profit. Means organized group who is practicing this activity, illegal activity, and the reason behind is to get money or get profit. Example, human trafficking, drugs dealing, illicit goods and weapons, armed robbery, and money laundering. These are organized crime, means they are pre-planned.
Yes, ma'am.
These are
Kidnapping or
planned crime, organized crime. On number two is white collar crime. What is white collar crime? It is an illegal act committed by a person of the higher socio-economic class of the society during the course of his or her profession or occupational activities. Again, means someone who is in a very good position in the society or very good position in his profession, he is doing something illegal, is known as white collar crime. Example, money fraud in the company, misrepresentation in advertising, adulteration of food and drugs, fee splitting by doctors, and bribery. Here we can take the example of any officer, any government officer who is in a very good position or in a higher position is asking bribe to do something for someone. It is a white collar crime. Get it?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, for organized crime we can take the example
Yes.
of mafia.
Yes, ma'am. It's yes, ma'am.
Okay, clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Yes, our next point is the kind of criminals, the types of criminals. Legalistic criminals, an individual who violates the law unintentionally, either because of ignorance, as in the case of a feeble minded person, or because the law is so confusing that it is virtually impossible to obey. These kind of criminals are known as legalistic criminals. Here we can take the example, any bike rider who breaks the traffic rule unintentionally, unintentionally, right? Sometimes we have traffic signboards, but the traffic police person who is available there has changed some rules due to the heavy traffic, and now people get confused who are passing by there. Now it is not possible them to judge what they should do. They should go right or left, or U-turn is banned. What is there? They do not understand the sign language of the traffic police person, and they violate the rule. So they unintentionally done it. It is not a planned crime. Understand? Next is professional criminal, a career criminal who is highly trained for work. I don't know why our writers is using career criminal. A career criminal
Yes,
who,
ma'am. Actually,
yes, career. See, in crime field there is no career. Crime is a crime. Okay, a career criminal who is highly trained for work, he or she often has a philosophy of crime and takes pride in his work. Forgery, counterfeiting, and confidence games are some of the careers pursued by professional criminals. For example, professional thieves. A group of people who does robbery, bank robbery, professional criminals. They are professional criminals. Psychopathic criminals. A person who commits a crime because he or she is psychologically unable to control his behavior. Psychopathic criminals are psychotics whose psychos results in illegal act. Means they are not able to control their behavior. They do not know what is right, what is wrong. They just do it in heat of the moment. They are psychopathic criminals. Next is situational criminal. The person who commits a crime because of the overwhelming pressure of an unusual situation in which he finds himself or herself. Criminal behavior is contrary to his normal life pattern, and it is unlikely that he would commit a crime again.
Ma'am, one doubt, one doubt.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am. It's from Sophia.
1 minute,
I am
Sufia.
saying
I
on her
want to
behalf
ask if someone teenage
because
people will do
network.
some crime under the. See, Sufia, this is
Yes,
a
yes, yes, yes.
type of social problem known as juvenile delinquency or juvenile crime. We are going to discuss it in our next slide. Okay, below 18 years of people.
Okay.
Just wait for next slide only. Okay, here we were discussing about situational criminal. Means the person who has committed a crime just because of a situation. Okay, means he do not have tendency, he does not have tendency to do these kind of crime or any sort of crime in his normal life pattern. He has done it because he is stuck in some situation. That's the reason he has committed the crime. Example, commit crime while defending self. Suppose someone has, or some criminal or anyone, any individual has attacked someone with a weapon. In self defense, the other person hurt him. So it's not a crime. It is a crime, but it is a situational crime. He would get leverage of their situation. Okay, this is situational criminals. Our next is juvenile delinquency. Sufia, you were asking about it. A
Yes,
violation
ma'am.
of law or ordinance by
Interesting
individual
topic,
below
please.
the legal age of the community is termed juvenile delinquency. It does not include all the act of misbehavior or even serious misbehavior by children or youth, but only those acts that violate the law. Here it means if a person who is below the age of 18 years in our country and he or she commits some crime, would be known as a juvenile criminal. There are situations in which juveniles are legally restricted, whereas adults are free. For example, buying liquor, buying alcohol. Liquor means alcohol. Buying alcohol is not allowed for children in our country. The legal age dividing juvenile delinquency from adult crime is 18 years. Now understand, Sufia? Clear?
No, ma'am.
No. See, your point was if if some teenage people will do some crime under the age like before 18 years, then he or she will not get punished for their crime as people mature enough nowadays. See, people who are below 18 years of age, if they commit some crime, they would be they would be knowing as, or they would be called as juvenile. Juvenile means teenagers or youngsters below 18 years, either male or a female. Getting it?
And they are
Now,
sent to
Yes,
juvenile justice court.
They would be getting punishment. They would get punishment for the act they have done, but it is according to the constitution or law system. Okay, like
Okay, ma'am.
for buying a liquor, there is an age limit in our country. Means adult can
Yes,
buy
ma'am.
a liquor, but a teenager or juvenile cannot buy a liquor. Liquor means alcohol. Okay. Now,
Yeah, but
juvenile justice system. Yes, ask
I
me.
don't understand because it's a both side crime. The teenage don't buy it because the laws say no, but also the man in a supermarket who sells this alcohol is also doing a crime because it's not allowed to sell it to young kids. Which
See,
law?
they would they would be getting punished, but the kind of punishment would be different from the adults.
But
Getting it?
ma'am, if they did the same crime like adults,
Then also at that time, judiciary system will
तो
see
ma'am
the
ये unjustice
age
हो
of
गया.
the criminal. See, suppose a 10 years or 12 years old boy committed some crime or commit some crime, then what was the situation? Judiciary system has to see that situation also. Juvenile
Okay, ma'am.
justice system is there. Juvenile justice system is there. The Juvenile Justice Act 2000 is the primary law for children in need of care and protection. The Juvenile Justice Act is designed for the care, protection, development, and rehabilitation of neglected and delinquent juveniles, as well as for the uh, adjudication of and disposition of certain matters related to them. It means we have different law system for juveniles and for adults. The program of juvenile justice include the provide to full coverage of services envisaged under the Juvenile Justice Act 1986 so as to ensure that no child any under any circumstances is lodged in prison. Means child would not be sent to the jail. To bring about qualitative improvement in the juvenile justice services. See, you are right, Sufia. Teenagers, girls and boys nowadays commit crime just like adults. But
Yes, ma'am. That's what my point is.
yes, they commit crimes just like adults, but still we have our legal system which have different rules for teenagers criminals and adult criminals. There
But ma'am,
are
those should be equal
they
for both
huh,
adult as well as for teenager also. They
huh,
also need.
they and are different law committees are debating on these rules. See, if a 17 years old boy commit a crime just like an adult person, then what kind of punishment he or she should get? This is the topic of debate nowadays. This is the important and very
It is the
important
right
topic
topic, ma'am.
nowadays, right? The next point is to bring about qualitative improvement in the juvenile justice system. See, our law says that every individual has right to live a long life. They try to give a better life to a person who has done some crime in his teenage. Qualitative improvement in the juvenile justice services. Next, to promote voluntary action for prevention of juvenile social maladjustment and rehabilitation of socially maladjusted juvenile. Sometimes teenagers commit crimes due to their circumstances, due to their living condition. See, if some teenagers, a group of teenagers, steal the food, or started stealing something, goods, money, or anything else, then there must be a reason behind it. Maybe their economical condition is not that good. They are poor. They are from very weaker section of the society. That's the reason they are doing these kind of practices, these kind of crimes. Next, the develop infrastructure for an optimum use of community-based welfare agencies. It means the welfare agencies which are available or which are running by the government. So juvenile justice system says that we should use them for the community-based welfare agencies. Suppose there is a correctional home and they have juvenile criminals. It is a sort of jail. See, adult person, if any adult person commits some crime, get caught, then our judiciary send him to the jail or prison. But if a juvenile or a teenager person commits some crime and gets caught, then government sent him or her to the correction homes,
Ma'am, in
where
fact,
they
nowadays
get
teenager
the,
also needs this kind
yes,
of price. Ma'am, nowadays teenager also needs it.
now they have their so many kind of activities like vocational trainings. They get educational facilities also to continue their education.
Okay, ma'am.
So juvenile justice act says government should develop infrastructure for an optimum use of community based welfare agencies. Next is to streamline adoption procedure for orphans, abandoned and surrendered children through the existing Central Adoption Resources Authority. Here, orphans means by nature they have lost by uh, by any justified reason they have lost their parents. These children are known as orphans. Abandoned means family who disown their children, or who families who leave their children. And surrendered children means children who have committed some crime and they themselves surrendered to the police or to the agencies. So government should streamline adoption procedure for them. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
should I conclude now? This was the last point. I think this is the repeat.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sophia, you have
Ma'am,
any other query related to teenager crime or juvenile crime? You can ask freely.
Ma'am, ma'am, you're asking me.
Yes, I'm asking you because you have questions
No,
related
ma'am,
to
I
this.
don't have any doubts. No.
Okay,